She took a break to find herself slept with other men for 6 months, came back begging. I said hello everyone. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now let's begin the video. Using a throwaway for obvious reasons with certain specifics modified to preserve anonymity. So here's the story in my own words. I took a step back to find myself, slept with other guys for 6 months, then she came back begging and I told her no. What happened next left her speechless and gave her exactly what she deserved. I gotta get this off my chest because keeping it bottled up is driving me crazy. 5 years. That's how long I, a 29-year-old guy, spent building a life with someone who threw it all away over some stupid journey of self-discovery. Her name's Jessica and she's 27. Up until about half a year ago, I genuinely thought she was the one. We met when I was 24, freshly promoted to assistant manager at a tech startup, and she was just out of nursing school, working grueling shifts at Denver General. I remember thinking, she was totally out of my league. A stunning woman who saves lives for a living while I was just pushing papers, managing spreadsheets. Funny how that dynamic flipped over time. By the time everything fell apart, I was making about $95, $0 as the office manager, leading a team of over 20 people, while she earned $72, $0 and whined about burnout from the ER. Money was never an issue between us. I handled most of the bills, trying to help her save up. I wanted us to build something, share a future. 3 weeks before she left, she came home after a brutal shift. Some kid had died in the ER and she looked shook. I held her while she cried, cooked her favorite meal, ran her a bath. The regular stuff I'd done 100 times before, but something felt different this time. She kept staring at me like she was seeing a stranger. Then she said, after knocking back her third glass of wine, "I need to talk to you about something." I could see it in her eyes, like that cold drop in temperature when your body, in fight or flight mode, even though you're sitting comfortably at home. "I need a break," she said. Those words hit me harder than any punch. I asked what she meant. Were we breaking up? Was she seeing someone else? What did I do wrong? She told me, "It's not you," which I wanted to laugh at because it's so. But she kept going. "I don't know who I am anymore. Between work, us, everything, I've lost myself." She said she needed time to figure out who Jessica was without being anyone's girlfriend or nurse. The suitcase by the door should have been my first clue. That wasn't a conversation. That was a sign she had already made up her mind. She packed her things, decided I wasn't part of whatever new journey she was about to take. I didn't beg. My pride wouldn't let me, even though every part of me wanted to plead. Instead, I asked practical questions. How long? Where would she stay? What about our lease? Us? She kept saying she needed maybe 6 months, and she'd be staying with a friend from nursing school in Aurora. She insisted it wasn't about anyone else, just doing it for herself. She left that night, taking 2 suitcases and 5 years of my life with her. Left me in our 2-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill, cluttered with her stuff. She didn't bother to pack her scrubs, her mug in the sink, her hair ties everywhere. I'm not a weak man, sure, I run a department, make tough decisions daily, even fire people when needed. But that first night alone, I sat on our bed and felt something inside me break. Not my heart, that's too poetic. Something more basic, more essential. Like my life's operating system just crashed, and I had no backup. The next morning, I did what I always do, compartmentalized everything and threw myself into work. I showed up early, stayed late, buried myself in projects. My team probably wondered why I suddenly cared about every tiny detail, but no one questioned the guy signing their reviews. It's been 3 weeks now, 3 weeks of coming home to an apartment that feels like a museum of our relationship. 3 weeks of mutual friends asking where Jessica is and me having to lie, she's just taking some time for herself. 3 weeks of obsessively checking her Instagram like an addict. And here, where it gets interesting. Jessica's Instagram used to be all about scrubs, exhausted. Selfies after shifts, pics of us hiking in Rocky Mountain National Park, date nights, normal couple stuff. But something changed about a week after she left. First, it was new workout photos. Maybe she's hitting the gym to cope, I thought. Then came the party pics, her in dresses I'd never seen at clubs we'd never been to, dancing with strangers who didn't know I existed. Sure, she's exploring, finding herself, whatever that means. But last night, I saw a post that just made me write all this down. Jessica in a bikini. I definitely didn't buy her on a Miami beach with some dude's arm wrapped around her waist. Caption: sometimes you have to lose yourself to find yourself. The comments were full of her nurse friends hyping her up. Yes, queen, living your best life. You deserve it. But deserve what? A vacation she couldn't afford when we were together. That bikini, which cost more than she used to spend on groceries in a month. The bottle service I could see in the background. I'm no idiot. I know what finding herself really means. It's about FEing other people without guilt, living some social media fantasy instead of. With the boring guy who actually cared about creating a future. My friends keep telling me to block her, move on, focus on myself. And I am, crushed a big project presentation yesterday, got hints about a senior manager position opening, and started hitting the gym at 5 a.m. I even cleaned out her side of the closet and donated her stuff. But what's eating me alive is this: she's going to come back. They always do. When she runs out of money, when those random guys stop calling, when she realizes that finding herself is just a cover for bad decisions, she'll show up at my door, tears in her eyes, apologies, promises to do better. And when that day comes, I need to be ready. Not to take her back, that's out of the question. No, I want her to see what she threw away, what she could have if she hadn't walked away after 5 years of love, stability, and growth. I'm not naturally a vindictive guy. I build teams, solve problems, create solutions. But a part of me, a stronger part that grows every day, wants her to feel what I'm feeling. To understand that some breaks can't be fixed, and some journeys dead end. For now, I'm focusing on myself. But I'm also watching, screenshotting, documenting, because when this whole thing blows up, and it will, I want proof. She wanted to find herself, fine, but she's going to lose everything else in the process. 3 months later, I posted an update on social media. I couldn't believe the support I got. People asking for an update, buckle up, because the last 3 months have been a crash course in watching her self-destruct. Turns out her finding herself was more like a 27-year-old woman with terrible decision-making skills and a spending spree that make a millionaire blush. Let me give you a quick rundown. Month 1, her exploration phase. She moved from Aurora into a fancy studio in Lodu, probably paying over $12, $0 a month. Started posting gym selfies at this posh gym on 17th Street. Membership costs $200 a month. She got a wardrobe that would make a housewife jealous. Next, Vegas trip with her friends, meaning other nurses escaping their responsibilities. Month 2, her living my best life era. She took a week-long Miami trip based on her stories and Scottsdale for some wellness retreat, which looked more like a pool. Party with Instagram models. Started posting cryptic quotes about growth and knowing your worth. She bought a new iPhone, new MacBook, basically upgraded everything. Month 3, the mask-slipping phase. The fancy posts slowed down, and I started noticing the same guys popping up in her stories. The same few dudes, no longer just party pics but actual conversations. She went from exclusive spots to just bottle service at sketchy clubs. Then she posted a story crying about how exhausting her journey is. But I knew her financials. She'd only saved about $15, $0 max. She, blown through at least $25, $0 in just 3 months. The math didn't add up unless she had guys bankrolling her. While she was out living like she'd hit the jackpot, I was working on my career. Got that senior manager promotion, 115, 0 plus bonuses. Moved into a sick loft in Reno, bought the S5 I'd been eyeing forever, and started casually dating again. Nothing serious, just a reminder that women don't need to destroy love to find themselves. My Instagram's just a highlight of my life. New car, new apartment, team dinners, weekend trips. No thirst traps, no inspirational quotes, just a guy living his best life. And then I started getting texts, first her friends, then her, kinda testing the waters, seeing if I was still hung up. Then came the accidental text, sorry, meant to send this to someone else at 2 a.m. 3 times in 1 week. But last week she really screwed up. Nurses gotta keep standards, professionalism, integrity. When she's calling in sick to party out of state and posting it all online, that's trouble. Her boss, who follows her on Instagram, called me crying. She told me she thought she was going to lose her job. HR was talking about her attendance issues. I asked why she called me since we're on a break. She said I was the only one who cared. No, but that wasn't enough for her 6 months ago. I kept it brief, told her to be honest with HR, take responsibility. What I didn't tell her was that I'd heard from sources that Denver's medical community is small. She was on thin ice. No-shows, hangovers, distracted shifts. The compassionate nurse who used to cry over patients, gone, replaced by someone more interested in planning her next party than saving lives. The studio she couldn't afford to keep. She's 2 months behind. On rent now, she gave up her financial security to find herself. Turns out that was pretty damn important. Meanwhile, I'm thriving. Suddenly landing big contracts, raking in bonuses, moving into a better place, dating a lawyer who's got her life together, owning her condo, driving a Tesla, thinking that taking a break to mess around is just childish. And I kept everything. Every story, every post, every tagged photo, her with strangers, those Miami or Vegas trips, the living my best life captions, all of it. Not because I'm bitter, okay, maybe a little, but because I knew this day would come. She's spiraling, and it's only a matter of time before she shows up at my door. And when she does, she'll learn that some bridges, once burned, stay burned. They don't get rebuilt, just left you stranded all alone. Stay tuned, boys. The final act is coming, and it's going to be epic. 6 weeks later, I posted another update. Turns out I was right. She came to my office, not mine, but my actual work, on a Tuesday afternoon. At 2 p.m., right in the middle of a high-stakes meeting with the CEO and some investors about multi-million-dollar deals. My assistant knocks and says she's in the lobby, says it's urgent. The CEO, who knows my story because we've grabbed drinks before, glances at me, raises an eyebrow. I excuse myself, promise it'll only take 5 minutes. And there she is, looking rough. Not homeless rough, but like she's been crying for days and stopped caring about makeup. Clothes, old leggings, and a hoodie I recognize as mine. The confident party girl from Instagram is replaced by someone who looks like life hit her with a truck. She says, "We need to talk." I check my watch, then talk, "You got 4 minutes. She breaks down in full ugly crying right there in the lobby. Security start to approach, but I wave them off. Let everyone see this. Let them see what happens when you gamble with someone's feelings and lose. She told her story. She lost her job for attendance issues, got evicted, maxed her credit cards. The guy from Miami, married now, her name was in the divorce papers. Scottsdale guy. Only wanted her around when she paid for bottle service. She kept saying she messed up, she just wanted to feel alive. The hospital was suffocating her, she said. Routine was drowning her, so she left it all. But here's the kicker. She said she knew I'd done well, that I got promoted, that I moved into a new place. She asked if we could try again, that she's different now, that she learned her lesson. And all I saw was her bank account balance. Nothing genuinely changed. I looked at the woman I once wanted to marry, who I helped through nursing school, who I held through every rough shift, every lost patient, every doubt. And I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just the cold, clear realization of my worth. I said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Jessica, you didn't lose me. You threw me away. You packed your bags, walked out that door, and spent 6 months sleeping around with anyone who'd buy you a drink. You told everyone I was controlling and boring, that I held you back. You posted about finding yourself, but really, you were just finding new DKs. And now that the party's over, when you're broke and alone, you want to come back." I kept going. I found someone who doesn't need to ruin 5 years of love just to find herself. Someone who sees stability not as boring but as strength. She tried to cut in, but I wasn't finished. "Maybe, Vanessa, you should try finding yourself somewhere other than between another man's sheets." Security had to escort her out while I went back to what matters, my life, my future. As I walked away, I threw in one last dig: next time you want to find yourself, maybe look somewhere other than under someone else's skirt. And I left her there, walking out of my life for good, while I returned to my table, knowing I was building something real, something she'll never have. See, I had one last card. Turns out, the catering company she worked for now signs all our corporate events. The same contract I personally oversaw, which means for the next year she'll be serving drinks and appetizers at every company party, every client dinner, every celebration of my success. She'll be front row, serving champagne to the woman she thought was too dull to keep her interest. I'll tip her well, but she'll see what she threw away, the life she wanted to find. Well, congratulations, she found herself serving drinks to the woman she could. Been with. As for me, I'm done. Done with this chapter with her, with the anger, pettiness, and revenge. The best revenge is living well, they say, and I'm living a damn good life. To every guy out there who's been told he's too boring or predictably stable, F that. You're not too anything, you're just with the wrong woman. The right one will see your stability as a strength, your consistency as reliable, your boring as beautiful. Don't let anyone make you think building a future isn't exciting, that loving deeply is worth less than screwing around. Never take back someone who thought the grass was greener but only spray painted it. I'm getting married to next year. We're buying a house in Cherry Hills, starting a family, building the life I always dreamed of with someone who actually wants to build it with me. Vanessa. She'll probably be serving champagne at our engagement party. I'll tip her well. After all, she taught me the biggest lesson of my life. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Peace out, brothers. This king has found his queen. And the woman who wanted to find herself, she's still lost, serving appetizers. To the life she left behind. Thanks for sticking around till the end. If you like these stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.